Hello and welcome to today's video where we'll be discussing the Chinese space program has achieved a significant accomplishment by completing the Tiangong space station with the successful docking of the third and final research module, which has made it fully operational. Following this achievement, the Chinese Shenzhou 15 spacecraft arrived, and the first in-orbit crew handover was completed. With a total of 6 taikonauts now living and working on the station for the first time. While we are already familiar with seeing people on the International Space Station, live for the Chinese crew on the Tiangong is different, and we'll explore what they've been working on up there in space. This is an overview of the Chinese space race and their Tangong space station. The Tangong space station is composed of 3 modules arranged in a T-shape orbiting about 400 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The first module, Tianha, is the core command module, which was launched in April 2021. The Wen Tien experiment module, added in July 2022, serves as a combination of crew quarters, research lab, and airlock. The Meng Tian module is similar to the Wen Tian but functions purely as a research and experiment space. One striking feature of the interior of the Tangong is its spacious and open design, especially when compared to the International Space Station (ISS). While the outside diameter of the Tangong and ISS modules is about 4.2 meters or 14 feet, the Tangong modules have more volume of internal space available. This is due to a few reasons. Firstly, ISS modules are usually shorter with more connection points in between, which create bottlenecks in the structure. For instance, the primary operating facility for U.S. astronauts, the Destiny Lab on the ISS, is 8.4 meters or 28 feet long, while the Wen Tien and the Meng Tian modules are both 18 meters or 59 feet in length. Secondly, the technology used in the Tangong allows for a more efficient use of space. The technology used on the Tangong is more modern and compact, allowing it to fit into smaller spaces compared to the International Space Station. For instance, many of the systems on Tangong connect wirelessly, eliminating the need for cables running around the station. Also, much of the technology on Tangong is concealed behind plain white panels when not in use, which might be for functional or aesthetic reasons, or perhaps to keep their work private. Regardless, this approach gives the station a clean and modern appearance. As for spacewalks, the Tangong taikonauts have conducted several, but the procedures and equipment used are quite different from those on the ISS. For instance, the spacesuits used on the Tangong are reportedly more flexible and lighter, allowing greater ease of movement during spacewalks. Spacewalks have become an exciting and regular activity on the Tiangong, with China's 3 EVA suits stored in the Wen Tian airlock. To help with spacewalks, there are 2 robotic arms on the station. The Tianha module has a 10-meter arm, and the Wen Tian module has its own 5-meter arm. What's even cooler is that the 2 arms can combine and function as one single arm, which comes very close to matching the capabilities of the 17-meter Canada Arm 2 on the ISS. However, the dual-arm system of the Tiangong is arguably more useful. In a recent spacewalk in mid-November, the 15-meter arm was used to install a series of intermodule connection devices, which are essentially handrails that will make it easier for the crew to move around the exterior of all 3 modules. As for life in space, the Chinese taikonauts living on the Tiangong are reportedly doing well. The living quarters are comfortable, and the station has a well-stocked pantry of food, including Chinese favorites like tea, eggs and spicy instant noodles. There are also exercise equipment and a microgravity garden where the taikonauts can grow their own vegetables. Overall, while life in space can be challenging, the taikonauts seem to be adapting well to their new home above Earth. When it comes to the experience of living inside the Tiangong, there are a few unique aspects that stand out. One of the most noticeable things is the number of footholds that are mounted onto the floor. This is in contrast to the ISS where astronauts are usually seen floating around all the time. Chinese astronauts prefer to keep their feet on the floor, so they are typically strapped in and not free-floating. Even when posing for group photos, they are standing up straight. The space microwave on Tiangong can heat up a meal for 3. crew members in just 7 minutes. It's a big deal because it had to be specially designed to run on very low power and survive the stress of launch on the Long March 5B rocket. Staying healthy is crucial in space, and the Tiangong crew knows it. They have to exercise for at least 2 hours every day to maintain muscle and bone density, and prevent fluid buildup in their heads. And even with all that exercise, they still need to sleep upright in their little bunk areas with curtains to give them some privacy. All in all, life on the Tiangong seems pretty comfortable. They have fresh fruits and veggies, their own space, microwave, and little footholds to keep them grounded. It may seem like small details, but they make a big difference when you're living in space for months at a time. The Tiangong has exercise equipment, including a treadmill and cycling station for cardio, which is similar to what's available on the ISS. However, the Chinese equipment is smaller and more seamlessly integrated into the design. For resistance training, the new Meng Tian research module is equipped with a rowing machine, which is different from the machine used on the ISS. The ISS machine allows for movements similar to squats and deadlifts with up to 600 pounds of resistance, which is probably more than any astronaut has ever lifted in space. So, the rowing machine is likely a more efficient way to achieve similar muscle activation. Of course, experiments are also being conducted on the Tiangong, just like on the ISS, or the crew can install it. The experiments conducted on the Tiangong are diverse and cover a wide range of fields such as ecology, biology, physics, material science, and combustion. With the addition of the Meng Tian module, the number of experiment racks has increased to 23, and there are also 50 platforms for experiments outside the station. The airlock system on the Meng Tian module allows the crew to prepare an experiment inside the station and then load it into the airlock for depressurization and installation outside, either using a robotic arm or with the crew's assistance. These experiments will help us to better understand various aspects of life and the universe, and further scientific research. These experimental racks enable the crew to conduct experiments on various fields like ecology, biology, fluid physics, combustion, material science, and the effects of varying gravity. The Meng Tian has a unique airlock system that allows the crew to prepare an experiment inside and then send it out to the exterior via an automated system or a robotic arm. The Meng Tian has a unique airlock system that allows the crew to prepare an experiment inside and then send it out to the exterior via an automated system where a robotic arm or a crew member on a spacewalk can collect and attach it to the surface of the station. They can then send the experiments back inside the Meng Tian through the same system. The next addition to the Tiangong station is the Shuchan module, which will be a robotic telescope that can operate either while docked to the station or independently in orbit near the station. The telescope is still in development, but it's planned to have a 2-meter diameter primary mirror with a field of view about 300 times wider than the Hubble Space Telescope. It will use a 2.5 gigapixel camera that's equivalent to 2,500 megapixels, enabling the telescope to image about 40% of the visible sky. Astronauts from visiting the Tiangong station. However, an increase in the size of the station could pave the way for more international cooperation in space. This year, there are already 9 international research projects scheduled to arrive at Tiangong through collaborations with the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs and the European Space Agency. While this is a great start, the current size of the station makes it difficult to host a significant number of international crew members. In the future, an expansion of the station could change that. It's important to note that due to the Wolf Amendment, American astronauts are prohibited from visiting Tiangong, just as the Chinese are not allowed to visit the International Space Station. So that's what it's like for astronauts on the Tiangong station. It's not easy to get a complete picture of their day-to-day activities because there isn't a lot of coverage from Western media sources. Plus, since I don't speak Chinese fluently, it can be challenging to make sense of the information that's out there. but I hope I was able to shed some light on this subject for you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Let's dive in. If you have any additional insights or information, please share with us in the comments below.